what was the idea for getting revenue specific for the say for safety? Then that was a levy, wasn't it?
Yep. Yep, specifically for safety issues. All right, I think I got it streaming. We can chat about that too later if you want, Wade.
That's fine.
But I saw some of them. All right, I think we are streaming. Hopefully everybody is back. Let me unpause the recording. Any minute now. All right, we should be back recording. So I think we're recording and you're streaming now. I've got 7:31, so we will call this November 23rd, 2020 council meeting to order, and we will start tonight with prayer and pledge. Let's say, our Father,
Who
art
are
in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come,
Come,
thy will be
thy will be done.
Give
Heaven.
us today daily bread,
Daily bread,
forgive
and forgive us our trespasses.
as we forgive those who
Forgive
trespass
those trespass against us.
and
And lead us not into temptation.
Deliver us from evil.
Deliver us from
Kingdom,
the kingdom,
power,
power,
and the glory.
glory,
Forever.
forever. Amen. I pledge allegiance Flag
of the
United States
of America, and to the republic for which it stands,
and
one nation, under God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with liberty
and
justice
for all.
for all. All right. Roll call.
Cosgray? Present.
Foreman,
Present.
Hamilton,
Present.
Atkinson,
Present.
Keller,
Present.
Query,
Present.
All right. Everyone's here. Sorry, I clicked off my agenda. All right, first item is approval of the minutes. We've actually got two of them to approve. Those would be the November 9th regular council meeting minutes and then the November 18th special council meeting minutes. We should do those by separate motion.
Mayor, I move that the regular council meeting on November the 9th, approve the minutes.
Cosgray,
right.
second.
Cosgray got the second in there first, I think. Any more discussion on the November 9th regular council meeting minutes? Hearing none, roll call.
Cosgray,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Atkinson,
Yes.
Keller,
Yes.
Query,
Yes.
All right, November 9th regular council meeting minutes will be approved as written. And for the November 18th special council meeting minutes,
Mayor, I move that the special council meeting minutes be approved as written and emailed out.
Cosgray, second.
Cosgray seconds. Any discussion on those minutes? Hearing none, roll call.
McCreary,
Yes.
Keller,
Yes.
Atkinson,
Yes.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
Cosgray,
Yes.
All right, November 18th special council meeting minutes will be approved as written. Moving on to tonight's agenda. I don't believe there are any amendments. There's no legislation to add, so I think we can entertain a motion to approve the agenda as provided.
Mayor, I'll make a motion, move that we approve the agenda as printed and mailed out.
I'll second that, Mayor.
All right. Keller motion, Hamilton second. Discussion on the agenda. Hearing none, roll call.
Keller,
Yes.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Cosgray,
Yes.
Query,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
Atkinson, Hank,
All right.
Hank is to say yes.
Yes.
All right. I know what a musician feels like now, hearing what I'm saying in my ear 2 seconds after I say it. Got some feedback tonight. Visitors, there was no emails received yet, and no online. I was going to check those, so none there yet. No emails. We'll check them again at the end of the meeting. So we'll move on to my report. I'm going to go quick because I want to make sure Brian has time to talk about the bond as well. But first, the festival parade, I forgot to mention that at the last council meeting. Shane had reached out to me. The festival committee does the lighted parade at Christmas time for the community, and is a little bit of a fundraiser. This year, it's going to be arranged a little differently. The BDRC is not doing anything for Christmas this year. Last year, the parade went from Basel Street down to the main corner here. Since they're not doing anything, the festival committee has joined with Trinity Church for the community tree lighting, and they're going to run the parade route in reversed. I talked about the staging area with the chief and the route. So the parade is going to be December 6th at 6 p.m. The fire department will take Santa through the village like they normally do before the community tree lighting, and then Santa will be the grand marshal for the parade. The parade staging is going to be on Summer's Choice outside of the pool. They don't know how many they'll get, but that way they have a little bit of overflow if they need to go back into that gravel parking area. But on Summer's Choice, and then it'll go down Park Street to Market Street, and then down Market Street to Basel Street to end at the community tree lighting. So that will be December 6th, and obviously the community tree lighting is just after that. The festival committee was asking the participants to, for like a $10 donation. There's no entrance fee for the parade, but they were asking if anybody did pay a fee, and then that money is getting donated to Firefighter Santa to buy gifts for the kids. So that's festival parade. Last couple weeks have been a lot of CARES funding stuff and health department updates. Of course, the governor has the new orders out last week, and with us sitting next to Franklin County, which was moved up to purple, has some people scared, especially in the northwest corner of the county. In a call with the health department, though, they are still overworked and understaffed. They are having a hard time keeping up with contact tracing for each day's positive test. So they are working at that. With regards to the enforcement of the mask order, they're basically, if a health department employee is in a business and they see something, someone not wearing a mask or the sign's not posted, they are going to say something. But if someone calls in and says a business is not doing what they're supposed to, they are referring that to BWC. Under the governor's order, BWC was tasked with enforcing that. They have inspectors in all of the counties already, so they're the ones doing that. So the health department is going to be referencing that out so that they can focus on contact tracing and finalizing a vaccine deployment plan once we get one. One thing that did come up in the meeting was that communities around here are starting to get requests from Ohio State University and the Ohio Department of Health to pull additional samples from wastewater from influent. Very early in the pandemic, I think it was University of Southern California, USC, did a study, and they were able to detect an outbreak of COVID by monitoring wastewater and influent, pulling samples from there. Ohio State University now has a grant to do some of that and is doing it on behalf of the Ohio Department of Health. At this point, they are the ones reaching out to communities to say, hey, we want to monitor. Can you pull some additional samples for us? It's really no additional cost to the communities because we're already pulling those samples. But I did ask Terry to go ahead and reach out to OSU and just tell them that if they want us to pull samples and send them somewhere, we are happy to do so. With some of the additional pandemic updates, virtual meetings have been extended to, I believe it was July 1st of next year. So we were kind of up against that deadline to try to get in there and how to be back in person and do it safely, and we're having some problems. So we're not going to run into problems if we continue to have virtual meetings here for the next couple of weeks or months while hopefully these numbers start to come down. We've got a budget to work on. Brian sent me a preliminary one. It's more or less a mirror of last year's with updated numbers. There are some increases in like streets where we've got the paving projects going on. There are a couple of new line items that we've added to help us be better prepared for in the future so that we're not fiscally caught off guard in certain situations. But I didn't get a chance. Brian's been working on the CARES funding and the bond report that he's going to give us in a little bit about the refinancing of the bond. So I didn't want to tear him away from that. So my goal is to early next week get with Brian and Terry to finalize the numbers. Again, a lot of it's a mirror from last year, just updated financial numbers, so that we can get that out to everyone on council, next week, the end of next week at the latest, so that you've got time to go through it and look at it before the finance meeting. I think since we'll have some time, Terry, Brian, and I, to talk about it too, one of the things I want to try to do is, in looking at the auditor's report from this year, they provide auditor's notes, little explanations of things. I think I'm going to try to do that with Terry and Brian when we send out this budget. We know certain things are always going to be there, but for those new items or to detail out some of the projects that we have on there, add like budget notes for you guys so that you're not getting just getting the budget and here are the numbers, so that when you see a new line or an increase in a line, you have some initial idea what it is there for, as opposed to waiting until the next meeting. So, and then with that also, this is our last meeting in November. We've got one in December, and as was mentioned during committee meetings, our normal second meeting date in December would be December 28th, which is between Christmas and New Year's. And typically, at least as long as I've been around, when that meeting falls between Christmas and New Year's, council decides to cancel those meetings that night. So that would mean canceling council, service, and safety. So if that's something you want to do, we should probably talk about doing that. If you're going to do it, make that motion tonight, so that if there is anything service or safety related that would normally come up at those committee meetings, Terry could have a little bit of an opportunity to get it ready for the next council meeting for everybody. So that is my report, and I guess I'll just ask what's everyone thinking on the December 28th meeting.
Hey, Mayor, I like it. Not having one.
Yeah, this is Cosgrove here. I don't see anything that the committee, the service committee, is going to have to do or take up. I know that Terry was getting some ideas about the issues that we went over in committee, but I think that can carry over till next year.
Okay. And safety, we could probably carry over. So
I didn't see anything in that, Mayor. I was just getting ready to say that.
okay. Well, think on it for another couple of minutes, and when we come to motions, maybe we'll have a motion to cancel the December 28th meeting. All right, so I will, unless anybody's got questions for me, I'll turn it over to Terry. All right, take it away, Terry. You're muted.
I want to make sure you didn't hear the football game in the background. Anyhow, I only have a couple of points since you already have my report from service. Mayor's already touched on the one for the July 1st extension for virtual meetings, which I think will be good for all of us. I want to reiterate, leaf pickup is done this week. All leaves should be out to the curb by 7 o'clock tomorrow. We'll probably try to do our final pickups either tomorrow or a little later. One more, and then I'm going to put myself back on mute because it sounds like I'm the echo person. Employee evaluations are happening currently. We're establishing goals, and I'll send off suggestions to each one of the committee heads. That's all I have at this time.
All right, anybody got questions for Terry? All right, we'll send it over to Brian for his update. And Brian, your bond stuff is on as new business, but if you want to talk about it now or under new business, that's up to you.
Okay. Well, I reached out to Baird after the last meeting and told them that council wanted to proceed on and about the feasibility of redoing the bonds. That legwork is starting. I should say it's rolling along now. They're gonna. They sent me basically a. Well, hold on. Let me think. They're sending out information to the banks about the funds. Bank.
Brian, I think you accidentally muted yourself.
Yeah, I did. Sorry. They sent out to the banks to get some feedback on those that might want to pursue refinancing our debt. Last week, that went out today. Basically, over the weekend, they wanted some financial information. So over the weekend, I worked on creating a financial report to send to them. So the banks that want to pursue a possibility of refinancing can see our financial information as of October, I should say. From there, he's looking at Monday the 14th to have some kind of information for us, for council to pass an ordinance on. He will give that to me probably the week of the 10th from his office on to formulate an ordinance to do this. And then those are to be those term sheets are due to bear prior to 1 p.m. Eastern time on Thursday the 17th. You're looking at final documents to be determined, but they're hoping to have everything closed by the middle of January. I don't know if you heard that. I don't know if you heard all that.
Yeah, well, I caught most of it. 14th will have an ordinance to do, closed mid-January.
Yeah, the information, I think finance asked me a question about, or you, Mayor, about the costs associated. That was built in. You remember the proposal I give out about a month ago about the cost savings? Their costs were already built into that figure. So, and it'll be included in the bond documents. So there will be nothing out of our pocket. It'll just be part of the proceeds and payments, financial related stuff there. I don't know what the interest rate is right now. I'm sure that that'll be passed along to me within the next couple weeks, I would assume.
What specifically are we refinancing?
The current existing bonds that we have with US Bank that were taken out in 2010. The current interest rate on those are, I think right now, 5.2%.
Is that the sewer debt?
That's a combination of sewer and water debt.
Okay.
Interest rates right now are lower.
Right. That's all I was trying to clarify.
And we're still looking at $500,000 savings over the remaining life of the bond, Brian?
Yes.
Sweet.
Right. Nice.
And it would be
All
for
right,
the
so-
same, it'll just be for another 20 years. It'll be, right now, we've been paying on them for 10 years. So they're just going to refinance the last 20 years. So the only thing that'll change will be the interest, basically. I'm pretty sure that the principal payments will stay the same and so forth between now and 2040. But it's just, the interest rate will be lower.
Great.
So we're not extending the length of repayment or anything with this.
No,
Cool.
Is that a fixed rate?
it'll be a fixed rate. Yes.
All right. So you'll, I would say just as you get the stuff and it comes around, just let us know and we'll be looking. I'm sure Jeff will need it ahead of time to obviously prepare whatever ordinance they need for us in January.
I think it'd be similar to the levy. I think they'll provide us with the language and everything.
Okay.
Okay, just a
Anything else, Brian?
correction. A correction, Mayor. I think you said legislation that we would need in January. If I'm understanding Brian, we need that legislation by the next council meeting, correct, Brian?
Yeah, they're going to give me something for the next council meeting.
Oh, the next one. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, the next councilman, they would like for us to pass a bond refunding ordinance.
Okay. So that's for the next council meeting. So you'll be getting that sometime this week or early next week
Yes.
to get to Jeff. Okay. All right. Thanks for the clarification.
Now, I know you brought up about closing. I just want to reiterate, if we have no meeting and the fourth Monday of next month, we will have to have something passed at the next council meeting for some kind of budget. Maybe not the final budget, but at least a temporary one.
Like we've done in the past, a temporary 3-month,
Right.
January, February, March budget.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right.
And that's
Anything
all-
else, Brian?
That's it.
Does anybody have anything for Brian?
I just got one thing. You said the bond, we're going to read because it's going to be a fix. Does that mean maybe 10 years down the road we can open it up again if we get a lower interest rate? Brian?
I
Or did we-
don't see why you couldn't, but I don't know. I mean,
Okay, I just asking.
Yeah.
You said you're changing it now, and you got 20 more years. I just wonder, 10 years from now, could you change the interest rate? But if you got it fixed, that means you can't.
Well,
Right,
I think Chuck, as I say, I think Chuck, it'd be kind of like your home mortgage. Right now it's a variable rate between a high and a low area, and whatever it varies between. So we get it fixed at 3% or whatever they're at. And if in 10 years it gets below 3%, we can look at refinancing it for the last 10 years, just like you might do your house or something. But
Okay,
yeah.
that sounds good. All right, good.
All right. Anything else for Brian? All right. Moving on then, Jeff.
Several things. One, no new legislation on the agenda for tonight's meeting. The only piece of legislation is ordinance 2020-35, which is on for a third reading, and that's to establish fees for a demolition permit, and that includes the language requested by council at the last meeting, which was to not require a fee for any structure consisting of 100 square feet or less. And Brian, I can prepare the ordinance pretty quickly for the next council meeting regarding any temporary or interim budget, but I would just need to have the budget itself prepared at that point to attach to the ordinance as an exhibit. Okay.
Okay.
All right. That's all I have.
All right. We'll move on to committee reports then. Finance.
Okay, our next meeting is December the 14th, 6 o'clock.
All right. And service.
Yeah, we had a meeting tonight. Most everybody was there. And VA gave a report, and the only thing under new business was driveway approaches concerning Cliff Street. And we decided to try to get some more information on or ideas about combining the sidewalks and the driveway approaches and send letters out to residents to see if we could get like a group rate where they'd save like $400 a piece and have a payback plan so they could pay it back. I mean, if they wanted to pay it back all at once or make payments on it over a year or so, but have everything look the same and give them a break and make sure it all gets done correctly. And that's about it.
All right. Safety. You're muted, Mike. Still muted, Mike. All right. Mike's still muted. But safety met tonight as well. Everybody was on there. It was the meeting right before we started this one. So there you go, Mike. You're unmuted now.
Okay.
Anything else to add from you met earlier and everyone was there?
We met earlier. Everyone was there, and our next meeting will be December the 28th at 6:45.
If it's not canceled.
If it's not canceled. Thanks, Chuck.
All right. Rules.
Okay, Mayor, our next meeting is the 14th of December, right after finance meeting.
All right. Moving on, public safety reports. Police report went over in safety. I haven't seen the deputy chief hop on yet, so and chief's on vacation this week. So we'll just keep going on. Fire district for fire board. I haven't had any recent contact with the fire board, though their meeting might actually be this week. So I'll get an update for the next meeting from fire board. Moving on, planning and
Wait a minute,
zoning.
Mayor,
Oh,
the
yeah.
police chief's council report was sent out to everyone on everything that happened in the village. So it was attached to your last email that I just sent out today, if you would like to review it.
Okay. So that is there for everyone to review. Since we don't have a police department on here, if we have questions on that, we can go to the next, bring them up at the next meeting. Planning and zoning, we met, it was our last, what I'll call hearing type meeting to talk about short-term rentals, bed and breakfast, Airbnbs, whatever cottage industry term we want to use for those, to look at what other municipalities are doing or in some cases not doing with regards to them. And I believe it was Dublin actually put a lot of time and probably a lot of money into a study that kind of provided a lot of insight for everyone. So now the next meeting coming up is going to be the discussion of, we've heard from owner operators of these businesses. We've heard from neighbors of the businesses. And we've seen what other municipalities are doing. So the next meeting is set to be the discussion meeting. Does the Planning and Zoning Commission feel that this is something we need to do? And if so, what? Is it an update to definitions? Is it new sections? And how do they want to do it? If it is even something we want to do. So that is what the agenda will be for the next Planning and Zoning meeting. There is a new business item on there as well that we've kicked off until January, which is the addition of ducks to our village chickens ordinance. So, but that'll be in January. That's not an emergency thing. We wanted to wrap up that discussion. So that will be the second Thursday in December. I don't have the date in front of me at the moment. I'm sorry.
10th.
You got what's that, Terry?
The 10th.
The 10th.
The second
All right, so that'll be
Thursday in December is the 10th.
All right, so that'll be December 10th. Moving on, Tree Commission.
We had our meeting last week, and we used the meeting to gather the last of the data that we need to. I will putting in the application for our Tree City USA. That is due, I believe, December 8th. And so we will not meet again until January.
All right. And Records Commission is kind of on hold. But Brian, did you get a chance to start going through boxes since the last meeting yet?
Yeah, I've had all this started.
Okay.
Plus
Good
I
deal.
kind of refocused him to go through to get rid of our old computers, all of our electronic things, because we're going to have the carpet people come in and stuff, and we have a lot of those stacked all over. So kind of, it's getting rid of records, but it's electronic. So.
Okay. Very cool. All right, moving on. Motions. Any motions at
Mayor.
this time?
Motion. Okay, Mayor, I'd like to move that we do not have a council meeting or committee meetings on the 28th of December, which that would be the Service and Safety Committee. We cancel their meetings in the council meeting.
All right. Is there a second?
Foreman seconds.
All right, motion and second to cancel the December 28th committee and council meeting. Is there discussion on the motion on the floor? Hearing no further discussion on canceling those meetings, roll call.
Cosgray,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Hankinson,
Yes.
Keller,
Yes.
McCreary.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. We will cancel those meetings. Something would to pop up on there, Terry, we'll get it for the next council meeting, and then that way we can also get it published. So, all right. Any other motions at this time? All right, hearing none, I'll move on to ordinances and resolutions. There are no first readings. There are no second readings. Third reading is ordinance 2020-35, an ordinance amending chapter 260, schedule of fees of the Baltimore Codified Ordinances to create a fee for a demolition permit. Sponsor is Keller. And as Jeff noted earlier, an updated one was sent out with the amendment that was made at the last council meeting that says no fee shall be required for a structure consisting of 100 square feet or less.
Okay, Mayor, you kind of said it all, so I won't have to say anything. Like you said, it's been in committee twice. We've kicked around on both first and second reading. I move that we adopt ordinance 2020-35.
All right. Is there a second on the motion to adopt 2020-35? Bueller? All right.
Mayor,
Second
this,
that motion.
Okay. There we go.
Boy,
Wow.
well, there's going to be a lot of discussion on this now, it sounds like.
Yeah. All right. So we got a motion to adopt by Keller, a second by McCreary. Discussion on the motion that took a minute to get a second.
Mayor,
Yes.
this here Tankerson.
Uh-huh.
I still have a problem with the charging somebody $150 to tear down a shed. You know, if a person has an old dilapidated shed in their backyard and it's going to cost them $150 to tear it down, they may just leave it just stand instead of get rid of an eyesore. Most sheds are 10 by 20 or smaller, which that would make it 200 square feet. Anything bigger than that is actually a one-car garage. And I would propose that we change that from 100 square feet to 200 square feet.
Okay, I have bought a house to tear it down. Like, there's a house that needed torn down. I bought it, I tore it down, I built a new house. And for me, this is just a further deterrence to do the village a favor and get rid of a house that ought to be torn down. Like, why raise the bar for people who are trying to clean up a mess or solve an eyesore or solve a problem? I just don't, I mean, it just raises the bar just a little bit higher. Like, why do it?
Because not everybody is tearing down a house because they want to or to do us a favor. And people like Larry Colley screw it up, and Terry spends thousands of dollars of man hours out there correcting it.
Fully
And this
understand.
is, you know, and so this is, you know, it's already $150. This is just adding additional $150 to the permit fee, that if the person does stuff right, like you would do to tear it down, you get that $150 back. So it's if you do everything right, like you're supposed to, it's no change in cost from what it currently is. Now, does the $150 deter someone that is a bad actor from doing it? Maybe, maybe not. But if it doesn't deter them and they tear down a building and they don't do it appropriately, at least then the village isn't expending additional monies to try to get them to do what they should have done right the first time.
Yeah, but anybody who's buying a house to tear it down isn't really, $150 is nothing except a nuisance.
But we're not always talking about people that buy a house to tear it down. We're talking about people that have a shed in their backyard, like Bob said, or a one-car garage, or the old nursing home over here, which took a lot to do to detach from the structure that's still standing and had interconnected utilities and stuff like that. We're not talking a developer or someone that has, you know, the idea of tearing down a house to build a new one. Maybe that's some people, but we're talking about the sheds that have been standing here for 60 years that need to come down. And maybe the person does it right and maybe they don't. You know, it's not just the person that buys a house. You are the minority, I think, in the ability to buy a house and tear it down. We're talking tearing down sheds and one-car garages.
All we're talking about is $150 more for the paperwork. That's all it is. It's not out of your pocket. You do it right, it's going to cost you $150. You want to put a fence up, it's going to cost you. You want to put a swimming pool up, it's going to cost you. Like anything else, you tear something down, cost you $150. Bottom line.
That's fine.
Right. Now we want to go back. Bob had made a suggestion to make that up to 200 square feet. I know we talked in the last meeting about setting it at 100 square feet because that is what our zoning code calls for at the permit requirement stage, so that they were consistent. But Bob, are you suggesting that, or are you going to make a motion to change that?
Okay. You have the 100 square feet for the zoning permit. Well, that's just to make sure that somebody doesn't, that they put it within the right footage from their property line. But what we're talking about tearing down an old building that might be an eyesore or actually dangerous, and the person may just leave it stand instead of paying $150, and just tear it down. Now, as I said, a 12 by 20, that's almost a one-car garage, but a 10 by 20, which I've seen a lot of them advertised, 10 by 20 or smaller. So I consider that 200 square feet, and that most of those are just sheds, not garages. So I like to make the motion to change it from 100 square feet to 200 square feet.
All right. Is there a second on changing it to 200, to read that no fee shall be required for a structure consisting of 200 square feet or less?
Cosgrave, second.
All right. Discussion on the motion to amend that to 200 square feet or less. All right.
Well,
here. Oh, go ahead.
The only reason Mayor, I was going to say is we got zoning. If people say, well, they won't tear it down. Well, if you got a building that bad, we're going to come in there and force them to tear it down anyhow. So one way or another, they're going to tear it down or fix it up. Don't give me this cost $150. If you got something that bad, you're going to tear it down or you're going to fix it up, or the village going after you. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. Any other discussion?
That's proven to be a difficult thing to make happen, though, in the past.
Well, I know it takes time. You got to go to court and everything else. Yep.
It takes time, but it does happen. We just had a case that went to court. I'm sorry, Mr. Keller, I didn't mean to step on you. I just wanted you to know that it does happen. I just had a case that went to court last month, and the result was the gentleman did repair the rundown or damaged shed. So it does happen.
Agreed.
All right. Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call on the motion to amend it to 200 square feet or less.
Let's see. Cosgrave?
Yes.
Foreman?
Yeah.
I'm pardoned. What was that?
That was no.
Hamilton?
I'm still thinking on it.
We want me to come back?
Yes, please.
Hankinson?
Yes.
Keller?
No.
McCreary?
Yes.
And Hamilton?
Yes.
All right, so by a vote of 4-2, the motion will carry to amend that to no fee shall be required for a structure consisting of 200 square feet or less. All right, continuing on with the discussion on the motion to adopt 2020-35. Is there any further discussion?
Question on the motion.
All right, question on the motion. Roll call.
Cosgrave?
Yes.
Foreman?
No.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Hankinson?
Yes.
Keller?
Yes.
McCreary?
Yes.
All right. 5-1. Ordinance 2020-35 will be adopted as amended. Jeff, once that amendment's done, just let me know and I'll go in and sign it.
I'll do that.
All right. And it does not carry emergency language, so it'll become effective in 30 days.
Correct.
All right. That was the only ordinance on there for third reading, so we'll move on to old business. Anybody have old business? All right. Anybody have new business? The one item on there is the current bond. Brian covered that in his report. So
I just
anybody
wanted
have
to-
new business?
Excuse me. I just want to give a little bit of an update. That's what's going on at the village office. As you can see, the parking lot has been shut off currently. What had happened is that a couple of projects were going on there. Across the street where you exit from Saltworks, there was a lateral split in the storm drain. And what was happening is that is sandy terrain there. And all the sand was going into that storm drain pipe. And so it was sinking. So we had to repair the pipe, stabilize it, and then re-pour that entrance to that alley. While he was there, we had a damaged ADA plate across the street that someone could have, caught a wheelchair on or their foot or whatever. So they're in the process now of removing that and making that entrance a little smoother there for not only cars, but for any ADA needs. So I meant to cover that in my report. I apologize, but I want you to know what was going on there.
All right.
That's all I have.
Any other new business? All right. Any visitors? I checked while Terry was giving that. I got no comments online and no emails, though sometimes emails are delayed, but I don't have any at this moment. If one comes in afterwards, we'll address it at the next meeting. Any council have any last call? All right, hearing none, our next meeting will be, and our only meeting in December will be December 14th at 7:30. And I hope everyone has a happy and safe Thanksgiving. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Hank,
So moved, Mayor. Second.
Okay, so I think Hamilton got it in there and Keller got the second, or vice versa. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, we will adjourn at 8:19. Thank you, everyone. Good meeting. And again, I hope everyone has a good Thanksgiving and safe Thanksgiving and enjoys the holiday.
Happy Thanksgiving,
We'll see you
everybody.
later.
Thanksgiving, everybody.
Thanksgiving.
Everyone.
Bye.
Hey, Brad, you gonna hang out for a minute?